All right, let's dive into a classic DevOps problem. Imagine this. You've got a new engineer, and you need to give them root access on 100 servers, like right now. The catch? One single typo could lock your entire team out of everything. So, how do you do it fast, safe, and at scale? Well, that's exactly the challenge we're going to unpack today. Let's get right into it.
Here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll set the scene and define the actual problem with all its constraints. Then, we'll pop the hood and see how sudo actually works. After that, we'll build out the solution, step by step. And finally, we'll get to the most critical parts, how to make this work for hundreds of machines and how to do it without accidentally opening up a giant security hole.
So let's frame the challenge properly. Look, anyone can Google a quick command to grant sudo on a single machine. But that's not the real job, is it? The real engineering challenge here is to create a system that's safe, that's repeatable, and that won't completely fall apart when you scale from 10 servers to 1,000.
And here's our specific scenario for today. We have a user, let's call him Ravi. He needs administrative rights on all the application servers in a big AI data center. And here's the kicker. When Ravi uses sudo, we don't want him to be prompted for a password.
Okay, so this is where the real work comes in. The requirements themselves are pretty simple, right? But it's the constraints that make this a true DevOps puzzle. We have to do this without messing up any existing sudo rules. We have to make it scalable, and, most importantly, we absolutely have to avoid any method where one little typo could lock everyone out of the system. That's the tightrope we're walking.
All right, so to solve this the right way, we really need to understand the tools we're working with. Sudo's power is all controlled by its configuration files. And honestly, getting this part right is the difference between having a clean, manageable system and a ticking time bomb. Let's take a look.
So first, what even is sudo? It stands for super user do, and it's basically the gatekeeper for powerful permissions on Linux. It's this core utility that lets a regular user run certain commands as the super user, or root, without having to actually log in as root. It's all about giving out power in a controlled and auditable way.
This slide right here is key. It shows the two places sudo rules can live. On the left, you've got the old school way, the /etc sudoers file. It works, sure, but it's a monolith. One syntax error in that file, and you could literally lock every single admin, including yourself, out of the entire system. It's a huge risk. Now, on the right, you have the modern best practice approach, the /etc sudoers.d directory. This lets us add tiny, dedicated config files for each purpose. It's modular, it's way safer, and it's so much easier to manage, especially when you start automating things.
So we know where we want to put our new configuration file, but how we actually create and edit that file, well, that's just as important. Believe me, there is a right way and a very, very wrong way to do this.
And that brings us to the number one most important rule. You should never edit a sudoers file directly with an editor like Vim or Nano. The only tool you should ever use is visudo. Just think of visudo as your safety net. It automatically locks the file so two people can't edit it at once. And, critically, it runs a full syntax check before it saves your changes. If you made a mistake, it just won't let you save. And that simple feature will absolutely save you from a catastrophic lockout one day.
Okay, enough theory. Let's put this all into practice and build out the actual solution for our user, Ravi. We're going to follow a super clean three-step process. First, we'll use vsudo to safely create a new dedicated file just for Ravi inside that sudoers.d directory. Second, we'll add the one specific rule that gives him passwordless access. And finally, of course, we'll double-check that everything works exactly as we expect it to.
Here we go! This is the exact command for step one. We run sudo vsudo, but we use the -f flag, which lets us point to a specific file. We're creating a new file inside /etc/sudoers.d. Naming it 90-Ravi access is a good practice, by the way. The number helps control the load order, and the name just clearly states what the file is for.
Now, once that file is open to the editor, this is the one single line you need to add. Let's break down what it means. Ravi, that's our user. The first all means this rule applies from any terminal. The all in parentheses means Ravi can run commands as any user. No passwd is the magic keyword. It's what tells sudo, hey, don't ask for a password. And the final all means he can run any command. Now, this is a very powerful rule, and we're definitely going to talk more about the security of that in a minute.
And here it is, the payoff. On the left, you see the before state. Ravi tries a sudo command and gets stopped dead by a password prompt. On the right, after our change, he runs the exact same command, and it just works. The command executes instantly with root privileges. That's a success.
But hang on, we're not done. That solution is perfect for one server. But remember our problem? It was for all application servers. So now we have to start thinking like DevOps engineers. We have to think about scale.
This is the question that really defines modern systems administration, right? Manually SSHing into 100 different servers to make this one little change isn't just slow, it's incredibly error-prone. You are almost guaranteed to make a mistake on at least one of them.
And so, the only real answer is automation. Instead of us performing these steps manually, we're going to define the state we want in code and let a configuration management tool do the work of enforcing that state across our entire fleet of servers.
This is where tools like Ansible, Puppet, or Chef become your absolute best friend. The benefits here are huge. You get consistency, so every machine is identical. You get scalability, and you get this really important property called idempotency, which is just a fancy word that means you can run your automation script 1,000 times and it'll only make a change if it's actually needed. It won't break things, it just enforces the correct state, which is exactly what we need.
Okay, so we've solved the technical problem, and we've solved the scaling problem. But now we have to talk about the most important part, the security implications. Because giving someone passwordless root access is a powerful and, frankly, potentially dangerous tool.
Let's be crystal clear about the risks. If Ravi's account gets compromised, maybe through a leaked SSH key or a weak password, an attacker doesn't just get access to his account. They get instant, full root access to your entire fleet. There's no second password prompt to stop them. You're also removing that little moment of friction that makes a user pause and think, am I sure I want to run this destructive command? This is a major trade-off between convenience and security, and it should not be taken lightly.
So, if you remember just one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. Always, always manage your sudo rules with individual files inside the etc sudoers.d directory. It is the absolute foundation for a configuration that's modular, safe to edit, and perfectly built for automation.
And that leaves us with our final question, the one you have to consider for yourself. Now that you know how to do this, the real challenge is knowing when you should. In your environment, when is the convenience of passwordless sudo a calculated necessity for automation? And when does it cross the line into becoming an unacceptable security risk? That's the real engineering decision you have to make.